What does Donald Trump pulling America out of the Paris Agreement mean for us? Is this finally going to rescue Australians as well from the madness of Labor's damaging global warming policies? Joining me is Coalition Senator Susan McDonald, the Shadow Minister for Resources. Susan McDonald, thank you so much for coming on the show. Trump wants to pull America out of the Paris Agreement. You've now got coalition politicians like Matt Canavan, Lou O'Brien, others saying Australia should now pull out too. Do you agree?
Well, we have had a long history of developing our brand as Australia as being a reliable trading partner and a dependable defence ally. And today at Remembrance Day, I was reflecting on that. 416,000 Australians signed up to go away to World War I out of a population of only 5 million people. That's the kind of brand and reputation that Australia has enjoyed and encouraged for over 100 years. But now, under these crazy emissions targets from Labor, we are threatening all of that. We're no longer dependable, whether it be they're not sending ships into the to assist with the crisis in the Middle East, whether it not be being dependable with our gas supplies, with our interventions into the market, with suppressing coal. These caps are making us less reliable, less dependable, and the worst part is it's costing Australians jobs. Think about the 8,000 nickel jobs that we've lost thanks to Australia becoming uncompetitive on energy prices and Indonesia picking up its coal production, using less calorific coal than Australia has, and ensuring that they're taking Australian jobs. What about the manufacturing jobs out of Victoria that are being offshored thanks to this government's refusal to double down on more gas?
Now, you made a very compelling argument for us pulling out of the Paris Agreement as well, because the damage being done to our economy by these insane targets is obviously hurting us a lot. Can you now actually say we should pull out of the Paris Agreement?
Well, I think that we have made commitments to the world that are reliant on what our trading partners are up to. Of course, if America pulls out of Paris, then we will review what their new policies are. As an agricultural trading nation, as an importer of our important defence critical minerals, we will have to look at what our policies are. But I want to make sure that when Ukraine says we need coal to keep the lights on, when France says we need more uranium, we don't want to rely on a Russian supply chain, it should be Australian resources filling those gaps. When Japan, who does have a 2050 target, says we need more gas from Australia for longer to meet those targets, Australia should be filling those gas demands. This is the responsibility.
I totally agree with you on all that. I totally agree with you on all that. Those are important issues. They don't go to meeting our Paris Agreement targets, which, as you very compellingly put in your first answer, are costing us jobs, competitiveness and all that. I'm glad to hear that you think the coalition should then review whether we keep going with the Paris Agreement if America pulls out. I think we should review it even if it doesn't, by the way. But anyway, it's going to. Do you think it makes any sense to keep going, given if Trump does go and pull America out, does it make any sense at all for us to still be in there?
Well, we made a commitment that we had a 2050 target using technology. We're reducing our emissions under Labor, to be clear, despite their poppycock targets. They are not meeting emissions. In fact, emissions are going up under Labor. So it's important that we understand that our commitment was around Australia being able to continue to supply the important resources for the rest of the world, for their electrification, for new technology. And I think that Australia's role in that needs to be recognised. It's absolutely right that
but that's not part of the Paris Agreement. That's not part of the Paris Agreement. Selling coal to other people, that's not part of it. You made a compelling argument for getting out of the Paris Agreement. You seem to be hesitant in saying that's exactly what we should be considering now with Donald Trump pulling America out. Is there a sensitivity about that you can't commit, or have I just not picked up the nuance here?
No, I think that we have been on a pathway to being able to meet Australia's commitments, but at the same time be a world leader. And as I said at the beginning, a dependable defence partner and a reliable trade partner. They're the priorities for me, particularly as the Shadow Resources Minister, that we continue to fulfil those commitments. And it's why we announced a nuclear policy so that Australia can.
Yeah, but that doesn't really go to my question. I can see you uncomfortable about it, Susan McDonald, but I really think those are different issues, and I'm totally with you on that. But this agreement, as you said, hurting Australia. Why on earth are we setting an example when most of the world will not be bound by the Paris Agreement to cut emissions if Donald Trump gets his way? I think that's going to be an issue for you. I'm glad to see you open the door a little bit there. Let's see how wide it comes in the future. Thank you very much for your time.